Hey, I'm Arden Kaywin, and welcome to the Pro Singer Success Collective. Today, we're going to be talking about effortless high notes without fear or strain. All right, so y'all want to know about high notes and you want to know how to get those money notes feeling so good where you're not scared and you trust what's going to come out, whether it's here, 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 or here. I'm playing. I can show off a little bit. It's okay. Point being, I can do that because number one, I trust what's going to come out. And number two, I'm not scared because I trust what's going to come out. And so the major thing that sabotages high notes is fear. Fear that you're not going to make it, fear that you're going to crack, fear that it's going to be flat. And then what happens within that fear is you start future tripping, meaning you're in the song and the high note is like a bar away, couple bars away, and you're already future tripping in your mind about that note. And you're no longer in the present moment with your body, okay? And so that sabotages your body and your technique leading up to that high note. So now you're not even prepared. You're not in the best efficient technique that you could be before. And so if you're not there before, then all of a sudden, mind and body start to feel really insecure leading up to that high note, which now breeds more fear, which then breeds more future tripping. So the future tripping, guys, is like that subconscious, like fixating, focusing on the thing that's not here yet. But it has an effect in the body. Because think about it. What happens to your body when you are scared? It's what happens to all people. There is one fear reaction for all humans since the beginning of time. It's fight or flight. So you're future tripping and that high note's coming up and subconsciously you are now in fight or flight. And here's what happens when your body is in fight or flight. When your body's in fight or flight, you're either going to brace yourself to fight that thing that's coming at you that you're scared of, right? Whether it's like the bear in the cave that's coming to eat you, or the high note. Like in that moment, guys, your brain literally does not know the difference between the bear that's gonna eat you and the high note, okay? And so this cascade of chemicals from the brain and hormones from the brain that are setting off fear, it's the adrenaline, it's all these things that now are having a reaction in your physical body, which cause your physical body to go into fight or flight. So you're either gonna brace yourself to fight that bear, or you're going to run away. Actually, there's a third reaction, which is freeze, which is like utter paralysis, okay? But none of them, fight, flee, or freeze, allows you to access your technique in that moment. It completely sabotages it, and it completely sabotages what your instrument was built to do, your God-given voice in that moment and your technique, okay? So now, you're bracing yourself to fight that bear, or you're running away from your bear, or you're freezing. And this is the reaction that your body's having to that high note before you're even there. So now for the next 6 bars, 8 bars, whatever, maybe some of you are in that place for the entire song leading up to it. And so now what you're doing is you're conditioning the bad technique. You're conditioning. And so what that looks like, I should explain what fight looks like in your body with respect to your voice. It looks like make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. What flee looks like is you stop, you don't trust the technique that you have, and you literally like take your hands off the wheel and you run away from the technique that you know. And what freeze looks like is just utter grabbing control. It's just like, and you can't move in either direction. You're not gonna push and you're not gonna run away. You're just like utterly stuck in that control, okay? But all of these reactions have the same outcome in terms of what it does to the high note and what it does to your sound. And that's it creates the sound that you were afraid of. It creates the outcome that you were afraid of. Because if you're pushing and you're forcing and you're doing and all of that, that high note is not going to come out good, because high notes in your voice and your body do not respond well to force and push, okay? This is why you strain. This is why those high notes do not feel good, because you're so worried about not getting it that you're going to force it, you're going to push it, you're going to fight that bear. And now that high note does not sound good. You will crack, or you will create some strain that really doesn't feel good. And now you're scared because you don't know if you could do that for 5 shows a week. You might be worried about vocal injury. It might make you really vocally fatigued if you do it that way. And if you flee, if you back away from your technique, now you've taken your foot off the gas, you're not engaged with your support, and now that high note is going to be flat, or it's going to crack, or it's going to be airy. So these fear reactions, they actually create the bad high note that you were so worried about in the first place. And now what's even worse is now you have evidence that you should be scared because it didn't work. You have evidence that you can't really trust your voice, your technique, your body in that moment. And so now the next high note that comes around, or the next opportunity you have to sing that piece with that big high note in it, you're even more scared. And you're going to go even more into that make, force, do, push, manipulate, control, or even more into that flee or freeze, which is going to create even more of what you don't want, which gives you more evidence that you can't trust it, you're not good enough, all the things. And that feeds back in. And it's just a giant negative feedback loop, okay? So in this moment, your mind is sabotaging your body from using the technique and tapping into your instrument in a way that you would otherwise be able to do. It's sabotaging you from using the technique that you otherwise intellectually know. It's sabotaging you from being able to access the instrument that in other circumstances you're able to access. And it is that fear of what's going to happen, that fear of, am I going to mess up? That fear of, am I going to embarrass myself? Am I not going to make it? Focusing on all of that, that sets up that negative feedback loop that virtually ensures that you will not get the outcome that you want. So, if you want effortless high notes without strain and without tension, that just ping, that you can do on command, like I came in here on command, it's because I have trained my mind, my brain, along with my body. So it is not enough to have good technique if your brain is sabotaging your body from using it in the moment that counts. So how many of you, have been working with voice teachers and practicing, and intellectually you understand what you're supposed to be doing for those high notes, but in the context of your performances, your auditions, your recording sessions, those high notes they just bring up so much because you just don't trust it, even though intellectually you know what you're supposed to do. It doesn't actually happen the way you want in the moment, and it's because you have trained your skill set, but you haven't trained your mindset. And the body cannot do what the brain is sabotaging. It just can't. Any athlete will tell you that. Athletes know this. That's why, when you think of Olympians and pro athletes whose body is their instrument, they are no different than you. Your body, your whole body is your instrument, as it is for them. And the way that pro athletes and Olympians have been trained for decades is they understand that they have to train the mind also. When you watch football teams, they get your head in the game. They have performance coaches for Olympians and pro teams to help them get their mindset, because they get at a deep level that they need to be able to train their brain so that in the moment it counts, it's not going to sabotage and get in the way. And you as a singer, you are no different. You are like an athlete. You have to consider that your entire body is your instrument, not just this. So if you are training in a way that does not train this, you will always forever be in a certain amount of nerves, a certain amount of lack of trust, a certain amount of anxiety, a certain amount of fear. And everybody says, oh, this is normal. It's normal to be nervous before a performance. It's normal to be nervous before you do an audition, you know? And the reason why this has been so normalized is because the normal way of training does not address this. And what I'm saying is, it's not normal, and it doesn't have to be normal, and you don't have to feel that way. So effortless high notes take not just skill set, but mindset. Now, you cannot have, how do I want to put this? You cannot have just mindset. You have to have a skill set too. So I'm assuming that you guys understand that these things work together. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough just to have a skill set, and it's also not enough just to have mindset. Like if you understand how to get out of your own way and how to deal with the fear loop, and then like what I was just teaching you, the negative fear loop, if you understand all of these things and have really powerful tools, like the tools that we give our singers to break these blocks and patterns and help them get out of their head and get out of their own way. So if you have that, but you don't have a rock solid skill set to rely on as well, that also is not going to work. So you have to train both. You have to train the brain and the body. You have to train the mindset and the skill set. And it's, you know, traditional training doesn't really train the mindset, which is why we have all these singers out there who are just feeling so less than in their careers because they're not out there able to land gigs, book gigs, make money, win auditions, make recordings that are incredibly impactful, because the way that they've been taught only addresses one piece of this. And so when we're talking about effortless high notes, the skill set is this. The skill set is understanding that your support and the energy of the muscles of the container of your support, the entire container of your support. So what that means is lower abdominals, lower back, pelvic floor, which is the muscles between the in the front and the in the back, okay? Like otherwise known as perineum, okay? All of those muscles, understanding what that means to engage those down and out, and that you have to move through those consistently and gently. It's not about force, okay? It's about consistency. And you got to learn how to do that throughout the entire song, so that when you get to the high note, it's already there. And then you're not scared because you've been feeling supported the entire time. You have to understand how to keep your ribs nice and buoyant, and that feeling of appoggio, that feeling of inhale to inhale. The gesture of inhale is expansion. The gesture of exhale is contraction. So when you sing, you want to think inhale, inhale, instead of inhale, exhale. So that as you're inhaling, you're expanding, and as you're phonating, you're continuing to have that sensation of expansion or of inhale. So I go into a lot of this stuff in a lot of my other videos, which you guys can find on my channel. But the magic is when the skill set and the mindset are working together, so that you are setting yourself up for the entire part of the song before you get to that high note in that place of consistency and trust. You're not future tripping because you have that consistency and trust, because your skill set and your mindset are working together with you instead of fighting each other against you. So that when you get to that high note, it just ain't no thing. It's just not a thing. Because you know you can trust it. You know you can deliver because you have been setting that up all along. And it's not going to hurt. It's not going to feel strain. You guys, strain is just a reaction to fear of failure. It's not having a reliable skill set. And so the mind goes crazy because it doesn't trust the body. And now it's scared. And so it's just going to do the only thing it knows how to do, which is force, because it doesn't want to fail. Ego mind does not want to fail in that moment. So without the proper skill set and without the proper mindset, that person's instrument is just going to strain and shove and push them to get that note out no matter what, because they don't want to be embarrassed and they don't want to fail at it. It's all just a reaction. Strain is just a reaction to fear of failure. And without the proper skill set, you'll be scared. And now the mindset is set off. So I hope that I've given you guys some really like simple understanding as to how these things work together. Because the body, your instrument, when you sing, it's only reacting to the signals that the mind is giving it. And that's just how you live. That's how we live. The body is only ever reacting to the mind all day, every day. Whether you realize it or not, you are always creating in your body that which goes on in your mind. And so we teach our artists how to use your mind more powerfully to create what you want in your sound and in your body more powerfully. Because I can explain to you an amazing skill set, and you need that. You need technique, and we work our artists really hard in technique. But if you don't have a mindset that is supporting it, it will not matter. And your high notes will always be scary, and you will always worry about strain, vocal injury, all these things. Now, this stuff is not just for high notes. There's some of you who may not have fear around your high notes, but you may have fear around being fully vulnerable and being seen in an audition. Or you may have fear around, losing your air, losing your breath, and not making it to the end of a really long phrase in a particular piece of repertoire. So whatever the fear, the anxiety is, substitute whatever I'm talking about for high notes here for whatever your particular issue is. And it's all very well and good for me to say, okay, so go work on your mindset. But what does that mean? What does that even mean? Yes, you can go do some meditation work. You can do mindfulness practice. You can do therapy. There's lots of ways to get in touch with your thinking. But what I can tell you is that until and unless you have a guide showing you how all of that thinking is showing up in the moment of singing, in your body, in the moment of performance, it can be very confusing, and it can take you years, if not decades, to integrate and piece together. And so that's what we are the very best in the world at. And my dog is agreeing with me. That's what we are the very best in the world at. And that's why our singers who go work with us in our program get the best results in the fastest period of time, because we are helping to be that bridge between skill set and mindset to teach you in the moment of singing how all these things are coming together. And so if you would like our help to be able to do this and skyrocket your career, because that's what we're talking about, so that you don't have to stay on the bench, so that your auditions land, so that your recordings get millions of plays, so that you can go out there and make money powerfully because you're singing in a way that now makes a completely different kind of impact. And impact equals income. And so if you're noticing all of this and you would like our help to be able to integrate skill set and mindset so that you can go out there and be a much more impactful performer to bring the kind of impact and career that you've been waiting for, then I want to invite you to book a call with us. And we're going to talk about all of the things that have been getting in the way in your mindset, in your skill set. We're going to talk about the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And if I think that we can help you, then I will show you what that looks like. I will tell you what that looks like. And if not, I'll point you in a different direction. And if you would like our help to be able to do that, then we'll talk about, how we can help you. And if not, that's okay too. So this call is free, but it is not for everyone, okay? You must be a singer who is, I'm going to say, a real singer who is working towards a professional career or already in a professional career. Meaning you are recording, you are auditioning, you are out there hustling for this, and you're just not seeing the results that you want in your career. If you're just somebody who wants to sing better at karaoke or at your uncle's wedding, this is not for you, okay? You must be a serious singer. Second, thing is you must be willing to invest in your career, because the singers who do this work and who get the results understand that it is a serious investment of time, money, and energy to be able to have a really successful professional career. And if you are not willing to invest that, then we definitely cannot help you. But if you are a serious singer who is willing to invest time, money, and energy to get the professional career that they've been wanting, if that's you, then absolutely book a call with us. And you'll be able to find the link at the end of this video on the screen if you're watching it on YouTube, or a link in the chat if you're watching on Facebook. So please do book a call with us if that's you, and we'll see if we can help. And if we can, then nothing would make me happier to be able to show you how to integrate skill set and mindset so you can skyrocket your career and be able to make the kind of impact and income that you know is within you. So thank you guys for watching the Pro Singer Success Collective today. I'll see you in a week or two with another topic and another episode to help you really understand the things that you need to know to be able to get your career to that level that you really want. So for those who want to book a call, click the link after this on YouTube or click the link in the chat on Facebook, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's episode. If you want to subscribe, click the link right over there that says subscribe. And if you want to book a breakthrough session with me, which you absolutely should do, then click the link right over here that says book a call to schedule an appointment to speak with us. I'll see you on the next episode.